Denny, thank you so much for coming to the studio. We certainly appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Well, forget to talk about the race. you had a league basketball game. You have a NASCAR league that you have at your house. First of all, that's a baller thing to say. Like, yeah, I got a basketball league at my house. Okay. But after winning the Daytona 500, you dropped 31 last night?
Yeah, it was a good night. Well, the first thing I did is pull up from about 32 feet. It was 5 seconds into the game to see if I was still hot, and I was still hot.
You were.
Yeah.
So you hit a Steph Curry 3 to start?
Yeah.
So call him out right now and ask who was guarding you last night, or who was trying to guard you last night?
Michael Fawley. He works for Joey Logano, so he got roasted.
That is fantastic.
So you are a Jordan Brand driver. Have you? And you know Michael personally. Yep. Have you ever played with him?
I've not played basketball with him. I've played quite a bit of golf with him, and everyone knows Jordan's golf stories. So, yeah, he's a competitive guy and a great friend. He actually brought his family down to Homestead, Miami just 4 years ago, brought them all down, stood in my pit box, hung out with me the entire day, kind of rooting on his friend for the championship. So it's just it's amazing.
In your phone, is it Michael Jordan, MJ?
MJ.
MJ?
Yeah.
That's got to, like, when you get a text, do you show people, like, see?
I mean, sometimes, but I mean, because it's,
MJ's showing that he has Denny Hamlin's number.
I know now. He's like, he's won the Daytona 500 2 times.
Weird.
He's my friend.
The guy got my phone number at a Hornets basketball game, and he's texting me throughout the entire game, and I just don't understand what's going on here. Like,
so do you know if Kemba's re-signing? Do you know that for us?
Unlikely.
Oh.
Wow.
See, breaking news. See, yeah, it's kind of like
take that to the bank.
I know. I wish we could talk about basketball this whole time, but we are going to get to your win. The second time you won the Daytona 500, what was that like for you?
It's crazy. It somewhat validates the first, I guess. I mean, there's been a lot of great drivers that have won it just one time, but you look at the list that's got 2. It's just it's amazing, and it just means that you put yourself in position consistently to win it. And it was a great feeling for us, my entire team. We kind of have a new revamped team this year in a lot of different areas, so certainly happy about all that.
And Kyle and Eric finished 2 and 3 too. I mean, that's an amazing day. That's an amazing day.
Yeah, especially for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, I've been with this organization my entire career, 14 years now. To have a 1-2-3 finish for a very emotional weekend for Joe Gibbs, it was pretty special.
Talk to us about that with JD, the loss of JD, just the significance that he meant to you, to your racing career, and just to Joe Gibbs Racing. Yeah,
it was so tough. I mean, we lost JD, about a month ago or so, to some brain illness, but Joe has just been one of those family businesses that he brought me on. JD actually was the one that found me at a local short track and told his dad that they needed to sign me. And he was my point of contact when Joe went back and coached for the second stint at the Redskins. He was the guy running the race team. So, it was a tough month, having his funeral and everything. And then we get to the racetrack and they have a tribute for him on lap 11. And I'm driving JD's car. JD was my car owner. It was his number. I put JD's name over my door because my initials are James Dennis, and so I go ahead and I put JD's signature up there. So it was very special to win on a special weekend for him.
How different was winning this year than when you first won it in 2016?
This time it was just so slow. Everything happened so slow. The first time, we're in the midst of a long green flag run, so the laps are just clicking off. 3 to go, 2 to go, 1 to go, it's over. And we win in a photo finish, closest finish in history of the race. And then this year, there's massive wrecks, with 10 laps to go. We red flag it, so I'm sitting in the car and I know in my mind what playbook, what I need to do to win this race. Now, things aren't always going to work out the way you think, and the cars aren't going to be the where you think they need to be, but I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, all right, just as long as I do this, I'll be fine. Another wreck happens, another red flag. We stop again. I'm thinking a little bit about it. So everything's just happened a little bit slower so I could take it all in.
It's a little bit like freezing the kicker, right? I mean obviously there's cars there. What was that? Because that wreck, and part of it was our Fox crew did an amazing job capturing it, but you're in front of it. It's behind you. Yeah. Do you feel that? Do you sense that? Or do you have to be told that?
Well, it's interesting. We drive from behind us. The drafts that we get, so everyone's running wide open. So everyone's got the gas all the way down, not touching the brake. So whoever's in front's the one manipulating the air the best. So we get our runs from behind us. So I'm always looking behind me to put myself in the right position to go forward. So I see the wrecks happening as it's going on, and not just know that I need to be in the top 3 or 4 positions to avoid those wrecks, and it seems like I was always 1 or 2 spots ahead of it.
You mentioned the playbook. So what is the playbook? Like, what is it? So you're sitting there. There's 10 laps to go. What's the playbook?
My playbook.
Because you won there 9 times at the same racetrack.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I knew that I wanted the top lane on the restart, and when we had that option to take the top, I knew it because I'd failed the year before. I was on the I chose the bottom lane on the final restart, and I lost the race to Austin Dillon. So it took me losing a couple times to start to write a journal of, okay, this is what my book says. No matter what, no matter who's behind you, I need to take the top line, and it was successful.
We talked basketball. Can we talk football? You're a
Absolutely.
Washington fan?
Yes.
Is that because of your relationship with the Gibbs?
It is not. I grew up in Virginia. So oddly enough, 12 years old, I'm in an autograph line. I got my 1992 Super Bowl hat. I get Joe to sign it. And I tell him at the time, hey, I want to drive for you one day. And, of course, I'm just some kid in line. It's the pat on the shoulder, kick in the mirror. He's like, take a picture. Okay, next. Right. But that picture's in his office now. 12 years later, he signed me, and been winning races.
What was the dirt track that JD found you?
I was at Hickory Motor Speedway, and I was just there. Reggie White was starting a diversity program with Joe Gibbs Racing, so I was there just breaking in the cars. They were buying my late model equipment, so they came up, and JD was like, wow, I know we're not looking for him, but he's pretty good, and so they signed me, and it took off from there.
Okay, so we heard about your hoops game last night. After the win, Steak and Shake?
Yeah, Joe started that in 1993 after his first Daytona 500. They won. They took the trophy, and back then he says he couldn't find Victory Lane, so he just grabbed the trophy and went to Steak and Shake with it. And they didn't have to do media and stuff back then, and so he says he in 2016 he did the same thing. Of course, he did the media first, but then went to Steak and Shake, enjoyed it. And you can see him there heading up there, and I joined him, and the pit crew enjoyed it.
What's your
as well.
order? Did you?
I was
fries,
after a race. I had quite
No.
the appetite after the race. I mean, we lose, between 8 and 13 pounds, to kind of depending on the race. But I was hungry, so I blew it out. I had a grilled cheese and I had a Reese Cup shake. I felt terrible for the next day, for sure.
It affected you. Dropped 31. You got 31 the next day in your league game. Yeah, I was terrible. I would have had 40 if not for that shake.
Any dunks?
No. We if you can dunk, I'm not sure we're going to let you in.
I think we'll all be fine. You still can't dunk, though, right?
No.
No?
I used to be able to dunk, but I'm old now.
I'm not sure I buy that.
Well, I have to get video.
That he used to be able to dunk?
That he used to be able to dunk.
Yeah.
Denny, thank you so much for coming.
Shoot, I might have to about something to the table.
Congratulations. Careful. These two are going to try and get in on your
wet from 30 feet, first touch.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.